Hello. I hope you're doing good. I'm gonna try to make this video as short as possible. This is a very important video because of the information that we were going to cover. I'm very excited, but I'm trying to contain my excitement. I'm very hesitant for this video. To a degree, I think I should take more time to think about it. Because the things that it means are a lot more than can be sensed in just a few minutes. Each subject is really important, but we'll only get a brief amount of time on each one. A lot of people have told you that I'm a liar, that I'm the bad guy, I'm the Antichrist, and that's fine. I've continuously showed you I'm teaching you the truth. I've continuously showed you the evidence of a completely different history that we've been taught. Numerous times I've shown you that the Europeans came here, said they found you here, and said that they think you're the children of Israel. I've shown you that many times. I don't need to show you that again. Around 10 people have asked the name of the book and how to get it. The book title, America Being the Latest something discovery of the New World. You type that into a search engine, you copy that, you paste it into Amazon. You can find the book for under 50 bucks. It's not that hard. It's the desire of the individual. And this is what I've been wrong about. I've been blaming you for a long time. But it's not fair, because I'm different than you. I have a different code, a different program than you. I don't know if it's inherited. I'd assume it is. I inherited the question code program. Question everything. Okay? I remember the day my father was annoyed with me being dumb as shit, and he beat the living shit out of me until and preached to me, because his initials are L-A-W, and he was very biblical, and he preached to me to always question and read everything, and if I asked him anything without looking in a dictionary first, or an encyclopedia, he would beat me further. And I think that's because he didn't know the answers to a lot of things. Now, I don't know if he did that with my brother, but my brother at that point was very intelligent. He, at 8 years old, was reading novels and things of that nature, so I always had a really high level to try to compete with, and I could never really compete with that. So I think that's why I turned out this way. When we look at it, years from now, if anything, in my mind, do I now think I'm competing with Moses? And I think that's really the question. And I think the answer will be discovered in this conversation with you, who I can't see, and the information that I'll show you. And I think it's kind of interesting. I mean, to some degree, you know, you're like a counselor to me that I blame in some way, yet no, I can't really blame you. And that's why I said you are programmed differently, and it's not fair, because you're programmed to worship. That is your program of servant. The problem is, everything that's around us tricks us. And as you've all stated, as my counsel has stated, as my wise counselors have stated, I do not present the information as they assume people would want to see in a respectable manner. And I understand that. Based on what we've been taught, you don't view people that cuss about things as that topic as respect for it. You know, people see me all the time holding the Bible and cussing, so they don't truly feel I have some respect for it. Yet other people can see through this and they feel like I'm blessed. You know, and it's kind of a blessing and it's kind of a curse. And I'll tell you why it's a curse. Because if I'm the leader, I'm having a hard time rallying the troops. Now, if I'm the leader, that just makes me a general. That doesn't make me a king. But that still means I'm gonna give orders. And that still means that someone has to fulfill those orders. Now, if someone more respectable comes around that you find that you should and shall respect more, then maybe that person is the king. But until that discovery is made or that day is come, I suggest some people listen more and make the attempt to change themselves. That is what I've been preaching to you. To make the change within yourself. I have been under a program separate from righteousness, and I started playing this damn game. And the game has distracted me a lot. But I don't feel like it's a very bad distraction. It's not like drugs or women or anything of that nature. It's a damn game. But it occupies time. And then I clicked on Facebook to link the game to Facebook. And then, you know, because I've been ignoring Facebook, Facebook starts showing me all these comments from the phone. And so I saw a comment where a person says that the name Hiel is a god of Mesopotamia. And I find that interesting because I feel somebody's always, as a group, going to be worshiping the Creator. Now, there was many gods in Mesopotamia. Let's not get confused. But when I saw that, I didn't feel like I've tricked anybody. I actually felt validated. You know, even when you look at Yah, and people have already put the Hayah together, and I've already showed the video where we used to write from right to left. Now we went to Babylon, and out of Babylon we read things then from left to right. We forgot who we were, and we forgot our writing skill. That's why there's very little writing from many prophets after Babylon. That's why there's so few. And higher backwards is a Yah. And then you have people that just use AYA and call that the creator as well. Someone had showed me that. I forgot who did. So it really points all in the same direction, and it's kind of funny. I'm going to read something to you now. I've read this to you before. I think it's really important. Ezekiel 36 and 16. Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, when the house of Israel dwelt in their own land, they defiled it by their own way and by their own doing. Their way was before me as the uncleanliness of a woman, of a removed woman. That's a woman on her cycle. 18. Therefore I poured my fury upon them for the blood that they had shed upon the land, for their idols wherewith they had polluted it. 19. And I scattered them among the heathen, and they were dispersed through the countries. According to their way, according to their doings, I judge them. See, we're not going to get the same judgment to a degree at the end when we come back to the Creator. Now, if we're worshiping other gods when we die, that's different. If we go back to the Creator, He is going to be forgiveful to us because of this. He already judged us. Our bondage. Verse 20. Listen very close. And when they entered unto the heathen, wherever they went, they profaned my holy name. When they said to them, these are the people, when the heathen said to them, these are the people of the Lord, and are gone forth out of his land, out of the Americas, the promised land, the land of Shem. If you don't believe me, we can back it up with scripture. The woman sent me, it's in Jubilees 10. The Chinook, the children of Cain, the Chinook, dwelt in the land of Shem. You can find them in northwest area on the map. That's Washington, not DC, the state. They're in the northwest. You can find it with an encyclopedia. Everywhere you went, you profaned his name. But I had pity for mine holy name, not for you, for his name, which the house of Israel had profaned among the heathen. Now when I say you, it's me as well. Don't think I'm just pointing the finger at you. I don't have to trick you to show you the Creator as our God, our Savior. All I have to do is show you. So it doesn't matter what these people say behind my back or what they try to prove. I'm going to show you in our writing. His name's Haya. Then I'm going to show you where Moses is buried. Then we're going to go there. And we're going to try to ask the Lord to wake him up. There. I said it. Okay, that was 22. Therefore I say unto the house of Israel, thus saith the Lord, I do this not for our sakes, O house of Israel, but for mine holy name's sake, which ye have profaned among the heathen wherever ye went. And I will sanctify my great name, which was profaned among the heathen, which ye have profaned in the midst of them. And the heathen shall know that I am. Am is what? It's italicized. I am is I is there. Am is italicized. It's a trick. I'm going to show you the trick. I am, I, higher, the Lord. And I prove it's higher. Saith the Lord God, when I shall be sanctified in you before their eyes. So he's going to sanctify us. He's going to cleanse us in front of them. Well, where are they? They're around us right now, aren't they? That's right. I've been waiting for an event to happen for us to leave. I think we create the event. Not by doing anything wicked. By finding Moses. And I'll show you how. Now we're going to go to Deuteronomy. No. I said I'd show you it's higher. And I'm going to do it the same way I did last time. It's the strongest concordance. Alright? The exhaustive concordance of the Bible. Now your Bible teachers, whether they be Hebrew Israelites, whether they be Christian, anybody that's in this Bible, whether they be Catholic, they use this. The most expensive Bible you have has part of this in the back of it. Now, I'm going to show you what was hidden right in the book. And this is why it says, study to show yourselves worthy. Now, you people think that I'm touched in all this stuff and that stuff. All I did was study and read the books, just like Daniel did. Now, to a degree, I understand things. And to a degree, I don't. But that's the point of all of us working together. And this is what most people act like they don't want to do. I can't help how our personalities were designed. All I can do is change my mind. Now, when we look at the phrase, I am that I am, alright? Now, listen closely. I'm not going through it all. I don't have the time. I have to be at work at 3 o'clock, and it's within 2 hours, so I have to get ready for work. So I don't have time to go into everything to do this. I'm sorry. But that doesn't mean that you can't study yourself. Now, I've been encouraging people to study. Now, when you study and you present it to people, it doesn't matter if you're wrong. It matters that you have the heart to be debatable about the stuff and the knowledge to present to win your debate. Talking back and forth ain't gonna get anything proven, but showing does. Now, I don't have time to show that the word I does not translate. I don't have time to show the word that does not translate when it comes to Moses and the Lord talking. But I can show you that am translates twice. Now, here we are. I should elevate the book. Alright. Now this is am. A-M. Alright? Now, Exodus EX 3:14. God said unto Moses, I, A-M, right? So it just shows the A. That I am. Then it says again, 3:14, and God said unto Moses, I am that, and look how the second am shows translation. So there's two translations for the same sentence, right? Of Israel. I am hath sent me unto you. I am sure that the king of Egypt will not let. Right? That's all in 3 and 14. Now, look, it says 1941. So this is a Hebrew book. This is written by our ancestors. It's not in the Greek. It's in the Hebrew. So let's turn the page to Hebrew. Right? And we go to Hebrew 1960? What did I say? 1940 or 1960? 1961. Let me turn back just to make sure I'm not tricking you. Show you I'm not tricking you. 1961. I think I said 41, but it says 61. You can see it. 1961. So 14, 18, 19. 1961. Now you see what it says in Hebrew? Now, that's a gateway. The time between the gateway and then the gateway. That is the beginning and the end. And it says Heya. H-A-Y-A. Now there's Greek translations too. And that would be the Greek name for him. Now, it says to be will be, to be done will happen. So the promises that are given unto Moses are from Heya. Heya. I, Heya, am Heya. That Heya, excuse me. I am that I Heya, that I Heya. Alright? So, I'm not tricking you. I'm not lying to you. Alright? So believe who you want. You have the information, and you have the knowledge of how to find the information. Period. Now you can look up all you want about Haya. But that's the biblical concordance or dictionary. The same thing can be done with the phrase angels in the Old Testament. It goes back to a name, Malik. No other name. So when people tell you that Jesus Christ is the angel of the Lord in the Old Testament, they're lying. That's blasphemy. That's a great lie to promote a false deity unto the children of Israel, in which the Christians already say the children of Israel are their Christ. So briefly, I'm going to look up the word angel. I'm going to prop up the book. Here we have the word angel. Okay, now watch this. Genesis 4:3-9-7. Exodus 4:3-9-7. Huh? Numbers 4:3-9-7. Judges. The word angels brought up 4:3-9-7. Wait. First off, what is 4:3-9-7? Let's mark this page and let's turn and let's go back and let's see what 4:3-9-7 is in the Hebrew. Hebrew 4:3-9-7. 4:3-9-7. So right there. 4:3-9-7. Malak, messenger, human representative, angel, a supernatural representative of God. Let's just stop there. Now, have I lied to you? Or have I told you the truth? I'm not lining up truths to lie to you later. I'm just showing you the truth, truth, period. And when people show that I'm wrong, I highlight that. Because nobody's above correction. No man, at least. And we all know there's fallen angels. So obviously, angels aren't above correction either. So let's go back to the word angel. Oh, I just pushed that. Oops. There we go. Angel. 4397. Exodus. Numbers. 4397. Judges. 4397. 1st and 2nd Samuel. 4397. 4397. 4397. 4397. Isaiah, Daniel, Hosea, 4398. 4398 for Daniel. 4397 for Hosea. Zechariah, 4397. 4397, 4397, 4397. The book of Matthew. And then we get Greek words. There's a pattern. Do you see it? All throughout the Bible, except for the book of Daniel, it's all 4397. It's all Malik. That doesn't say Jesus. You've been lied to. So you accept a false god as a curse. Now it's time to break the curse. Knowledge breaks curses. Prayer, knowledge. Now let's look one more time. And we'll find out what 4398 is as well. 4397 Malik. 4398 Malik. Again, I'll be. They translated his name twice. That's called two witnesses, right? You don't need two witnesses for the Lord. It's in his name. Heya. In the sentence to I am, that I am, every time you read that Bible, am is italicized when it's talking in context of the Lord, our Creator. I've never lied to you. You've been lied to by others, and they perpetrate their lie and try to keep you away from me. The messenger is Malik. And I have another message. This starts the lesson for today. The new information. Darlene Ray says, hello, Lex. I'm so excited to find this through researching the names in the Wikipedia on Origin Adamantius. Adamantius. Recalling what I see in the movie to the Borak Emperor Maximus Therax. I do not know how to explain it. Only the power of the Most High, Heya, guidance. But just researching led me to check out YouTube, Christopher Columbus, Book of Privileges, claiming of the New World. Listen close. You can watch the whole thing just to see the maps and hear what the author says about them. Oh, the maps are amazing. He brings up, and I have to minimize it. Here we go. I don't know why, but the message is shortened for some reason. It continued to say, it brought up the rivers. You see how the sentence is cut off. It says, oh, there it is. See? Well, I don't know why it cuts off like that. Claiming of the New World. You can watch the whole thing and see the maps and hear what the author says about them. Oh, the maps are amazing. He brings up Genesis. Now, this is the New World they're talking about. Genesis and the 4 rivers. The terrestrial, see, it cuts off again. The terrestrial paradise. However, starting at 29:14, you will be amazed because this is what you've been saying all along. So listen to this. YouTube the video, Christopher Columbus, Book of Privileges, Claiming the New World. Okay, so we're just going to copy that. Okay. And then we'll just paste it right there. Now, we don't have time to watch this. We just have time to prove it exists. Here it is. It's an hour and 5 minutes. Library of Congress. I'll be damned. So, again, now that's great because this book that they're about to read from, that we cannot watch right now, goes perfect with what I'm going to show you next. Now, we went to Deuteronomy 32. Now, I've showed you many times all the street signs of the East Coast have to do with the Bible, especially going through New York. And of course, Pennsylvania. So, I want you to listen closely. Deuteronomy 32 and 16. They provoked him to jealousy with strange gods, and with abominations provoked him to anger. They sacrifice unto devils, not to God, to gods whom they knew not. See, if you're told Jesus Christ, but you're actually in a system of commerce and war, which is the Mercury, then you don't even understand the God you're worshiping. That's a God you knew not. It's also a foreign God, which means it's a God you knew not. Now listen to this. To gods whom they knew not, to new gods that newly came up. Now, we always talk about testicles and seed, right? When you plant seed, something grows up, right? As a child, you grow up. Now listen. To new gods that came newly up. See, everything grows from seed. The angels, they grew from seed. He didn't sit them down on the table and pop, fizzle, cut. They grew from seed. Whom you knew, to new gods that newly came up, whom your fathers feared not. Your fathers would give a shit about these people. Your fathers knew if these people would have crossed them, they'd have cut them down, because that's what they were ordered to do. But the generations that followed our forefathers did these things. That's why we were born into slavery. That's why we were born into abomination. That's why we were trained in abomination. We can change that. We can change the person that is in the mirror. Can't change nobody else. You cannot plug remote controls up people's asses and control them. All you can do is teach them and let them balance their lives out. 18. Of the rock that begot thee, thou art unmindful. unthoughtful. You do not think about the rock, the creator that created us. They taught you Jesus is your rock. Jesus is your new rock. Our ancestors had to accept that by the sword. Our ancestors before that worshipped other gods willingly. We today, we have a struggle with everything. We do not have to be this way. It is not hard to worship the Creator just because we can't see Him. If we please Him, He will come to us as His prophets have told us. Of the rock that begot thee, thou art unmindful, and hast forgotten God that formed thee. And when the Lord saw it, He abhorred them because of the provoking of His sons and of His daughters. You see this? We're His children, but He's not our Father, because we have been worshiping other gods. We are unmindful of what created us. 20. And He said, I will hide my face from them. And this is why the Gentiles can't see God either. He has hid His face from all. We are the in-between. We are to be their Christ, like they've already written. Because they've known the prophecies. They took their New Testament from somewhere, and then they hid those books and twisted what they needed to get you to worship something different. And He said, I will hide my face from them. I will see what their end shall be. He's going to use His chair to look into the future. Right? The chair with all the eyes. And He looks into the future and sees our end. What? I will see what their end shall be. For they are a very froward. That's your modern word for perversion. Froward. Nasty. They are very base. All they think of is sex. And habitual substances. Money. For they are a very forward generation, children in whom is no faith. You believe in Christ, yet you see all these Christians go out and fucking kill and murder. Thou shalt not murder. Excuse me. Praise Jesus, right? Kill somebody and praise Jesus, right? Tap your forehead, tap your chest, tap one arm, then tap one shoulder, then the other, right? Let's pray and send our children off to war. To steal other people's shit. Resources we haven't even discovered yet. That's what we do as Christians. We don't protect the world, we dominate the world like an infection. So it's time to infect them with the truth. The sweet smell of truth. Okay. 21. This is the magic verse. Deuteronomy 32 and 21. They have moved me to jealousy with that which is not God. They have provoked me to anger. Isn't that what Ezekiel said? Profaning His name and calling on other gods. They have provoked me to anger with their vanities. And I will move them to jealousy with those which are not a people. French people in court just ruled on French civilization that French people as a group are not indigenous to France, which means they're not French. They're occupiers. See, we've all grown up thinking France is the home of French, and it's not. And then, see, they're still hiding the truth. Then they called all the fucking black people there Africans. French Africans. They didn't call them French Asians, which if you type in Afro-Asians, that's the picture that's given of them. Because they look like you. Frenchy niggas. They took them to court and won. I'm sorry. The French, they wrote a book called Fuck the French. The French people said, oh, that's insightful. We'll sue you. So the French people, a group for the French people, tried to sue the rapper and the socialist that made a CD, and the socialist wrote a book. And they tried to sue them, and the French people lost. The court decided that the French people as a group do not constitute a people. I'm gonna read this again. I'm gonna read this because it's funny how this prophecy follows court. They provoke me with their vanities, and I will move them to jealousy with those which are not a people. So the children of God are highly melanated, and they can plant, and they can produce melons. Hence it's called melanation. Word game. Word magic. Word knots, word web, however you want to view it. So the children of Lucifer, as it's in here, it's in the Bible, don't bullshit me, have a higher content of pheomelanin, which is sulfur. And we all know sulfur is linked to fire. Fire is linked to the Christians' version of the abyss, which they call hell. Hence, the Hebrews fought the Greeks, which they lost. The Greeks were called Hellenistic. Pardon me, it's funny how all their words revolve around hell. And we have become heathens, or heathenistic, by following their Hellenistic ways. So this is why you can't sit there and act all zealous and like you're gonna fucking kill everybody, because you're fucking heathen. And that's why I say it that way. And stop acting like you're better than that, because it doesn't make sense. I desire to want to be better, and I understand your desire to want to be better, but you're heathen. You and me, don't act like I'm excluding myself. We are heathen. We've been brought up as heathen trash by heathen trash. We have to change the man in the mirror. Now listen. This is one of the greatest chapters, and nobody knows it because they always tell you to stay out of the Old Testament. Now, this is the curse in Deuteronomy 32. Now, if you don't think it's a curse, then you're not understanding. This is when the Israelites just came back to God. Joshua was about to be awarded the land. This is what they're told when they're in the green, when they're in the good, before they move into the red. Before the blessings are stopped or halted and the curses begin. Now listen. When you go into Deuteronomy 32 and 44, you'll find out the true name of Joshua. Because the letter J is only created in the 1600s, which is 1524, in Italy, Rome, Jesus, right? Now listen, Deuteronomy 32 and 44. And Moses came and spake all the words of this song in the ears of the people, he and Hoshea, son of Nun. And 18 is right next to Hoshea's name. So it says Deuteronomy 44 and 18 in the prefix, or Joshua is what's in the prefix. Hoshea is Joshua's real name. Hence, I told you Joshua in history is called Hoshen of the Black Chinese Z people. XI, Zai, however you want to call it. That's Joshua. That's your Joshua in history. Hoshea, Hoshen. Now, when you go further down in 32, listen very closely. 32 and 48. Deuteronomy 32 and 48. And the Lord spake unto Moses that same day, saying, 49, get thee up unto this Mount Abarim. Now listen. There's a couple Mount Abrahams. I'm going to tell you why. There's two special ones. In Maine, there's a Mount Abraham, and in Vermont, there's a Mount Abraham. Now, now listen, this is where they tried to trick you. The Mount Abraham in Vermont is by Mount Ephraim, but that's Abraham Lincoln Mountain. He renamed it something. To find out the name before that would probably be interesting. Now, the mountain in Maine is Mount Abraham of this, when he's in the land of Canaan. Now listen, Abarim is all language. Abba, father, Rim. Abraham sacrificed a ram, right? Instead of Isaac. Abarim. Right? Get up thee under this Mount Abarim, unto Mount Nebo, which is in the land of Moab. Now, Moab is Mojave Desert, right? Or the Moab Desert, which is in Utah. Listen. Which is in the land of Moab. It is over against Jericho. So it's right next to Jericho. And behold, the land of Canaan, the East Coast, which I give unto the children of Israel for a possession. This is our evidence that we had every right to usurp the Canaanites on this land and rename the mountain Mount Ephraim. Because when you go into Joshua, that's when they name it Mount Ephraim. Dum diversus is a decree based off Genesis 9. It is a court document.
Admiralty law is based off dum diversis. Your court system is based off dum diversis. This is now the way to defeat it. Moses died 50. Moses died. Where did he die? Listen close. Deuteronomy 32. And die in the mount whither thou goest up. Let's go back one verse. Go up unto this Mount Abarim, unto Mount Nebo. I'm going to close this book now. Moses is buried at Mount Nebo in Moab, by or in the Moabi Desert, in the west, on the other side of the Colorado River, or on either side of the Colorado River. We've been in the land of Shem because it's been our land. If you don't understand what this means, this proves that you're not African. This proves you are right here, and most people were dispersed from here into other lands. If, like the French Negro, you weren't already there. If, like the European states in that book from Keep the Blood Pure, when the Europeans came to Europe, France is Europe. It's part of Europe. When the Europeans came to Europe, Aboriginals were already there. Now they live in their ghettos. They are Negroid. Hence the Mormon collection of your black-ass births in the West. Oh my God, hence the doors roll. Oh shit. Wow. It's amazing. All lined up for us, and we're just too distracted. Now, it doesn't matter if I show you Mount Abraham on screen. It doesn't show you. It doesn't matter if I show you Mount Abarim, because it's going to say it's on the other side of the world. What matters is we know where the Moabi Desert is. We know that's the desert of Moab. That's the desert of Sodom and Gomorrah and 5 other cities. Salt Lake City is a dried riverbed. They took a wasteland and turned it into Vegas, Gomorrah. In the Fallout series, the video game Fallout, when they go Fallout New Vegas, Gomorrah is the gambling. Oh man, I've stated this before, but now it's a confirmation for me, while I'm talking to myself in the camera. So, we know where the Book of Jubilees took place. And recently we got information from a viewer that, the New Testament Book of Acts talks about Mars Hill, and Mars Hill is in North Carolina. Or South Carolina, which it's in the Carolinas. It's always been here. That's why they won't let you go into those mounds, because your bodies are their ancestors. The DNA will match yours today. That's why they control all the DNA centers. That's why they control the education of the DNA. And that's why they mislabel everything, especially the things that have to do with Nephilim, under congenital birth defects. I'm only on a little bit of time. I'm going to tell you how I found this information. I was studying people going into the forests, national parks, national forests, national parks, and they vanish or end up as missing people or dead. Now, as I started watching these video series that revolve around two books, they're called 411. One has to do with, they have subtitles as well. 411 West Coast in Canada, and it's 411 East Coast. Now, what's important about this is we're to go into the wilderness. A wilderness is defined as a forest, a wilderness, plains, prairies, desert, and or a wasteland, something that has been in ruin. Now, we need, in my mind, I believe we need somewhere to group up, somewhere that's free. And the most logical place is a desert. And I'll tell you why. While studying this 411 information about people going missing, God gave me every herb to do as I will. Even if you feel I abuse it, it is my will. There's a lot of people coming out missing in national forests and national parks. And sometimes they find remains. And studying this, knowing that we have to go into a wilderness, it seems that in the cities it would present safety because these things don't live in the cities. As I was studying this, at first I thought it was Satanists, snatching people out of the woods. Now that could very well happen, but it seems there's a season of this thing. When you study these videos, there's a video called Odd Disappearances. You type that in, and it's a 2-hour video of coast to coast that broadcasts from the Mojave Desert. Okay, same thing we're talking about. And while I was watching these videos about missing people disappearing, not odd disappearances, but I was watching another one before that, and it showed me a map. And when it showed me a map, it was a map of Maine where a woman disappeared. And when you looked at the map of Maine, when they were talking about because there's only one subject matter of this, and the best video is a radio broadcast of Coast to Coast. The title is Odd Disappearances. Separate from that, this video that I'm talking about, the woman was trying to go from one hiking area on the Appalachian Mountain Trail in Maine to another, and they showed a map, and then I visually saw Mount Abraham. And then studying Mount Abraham, I found that there were two mountains. So the missing people in the national parks, well, that's how I got on this hot trail of where Moses is buried. So the information about people missing in national parks is kind of interesting because this author is an ex-cop, and it tells you that the people involved are the people at the top of the national parks knows what's going on, and they're keeping the missing information about missing people away from the public. And it's not UFOs, it's not time warps. He explains it one time. Now he's telling you there's thousands of missing people. There's hundreds of thousands of missing people. He's telling you he needs certain criteria for him to be interested. Now here's the things that he needs. He needs to hear that they found a dead body and the shoes were missing. He needs to hear they found pants that were folded or pants that were taken off of the body. This means an animal didn't chew through it. He needs to hear things like that for it to fall within the criteria.
He needs to hear that there's a search area based on human characteristics of the person missing. Technically, they could be this far if an animal dragged them. He needs to hear it's well outside of the search area, but the body's still found in wooded area. He calls these area clusters. He says there's 8 clusters in North America and Canada. These, as you listen, are feeding grounds. As I listen to all these videos, I've devised that these things that are being described, there are many, but they don't seem to hunt as groups. Now listen, they live in dry riverbeds, in higher places, and they scope down and they see the people camping. They're able to snatch. They're very fast. Very fast. When you see movies of werewolves, they're on par with that fast, but they're very sneaky and quiet. There's reports of a grown man picking berries with his child that's under 2 years old. Picks a berry, turns back, the kid's gone. The kid's body is found 12 miles away within 3 days of the search. Over 2 mountains, over rivers, and over fences, and the police have had the man there the whole time, questioning him. This thing crosses mountains like that. It hops fences like that. There's a child that was found alive. The child states it was a wolf, a giant wolf. The wolf picked berries for her. Different instance. The child found alive. That kid was found dead. Girl says the wolf picked berries for her, made a bed for the wolf, made a bed for her. They stumbled onto the girl within 3 days. Listening to this man and his interviews, many interviews over and over again, I've devised some things about hunting or staying away from this thing or these things. I want to tell you something else. Now, the system, it's just there, how to hunt or how to stay away. It's based on its dwelling and its feeding habits. It eats elk. Now listen, you couldn't take 2 men and hunt one of these. You'd have to take 15. And I'm going to tell you why. They explained there was a badass hunter. And he was most likely using his bow that day hunting elk, which is the same food source as these man-wolves. And I'm going to tell you why I think they're man-wolves. Now, the dude was wearing a baklava because the people know how he hunts and they saw what was left. Like what we would call a crime scene, but in a missing person situation is technically not a crime scene yet. Okay. He had a firearm, he had a gun, and he had a knife, and he was up in one of those, he had a tree nest. It said his friends went out there and searched the area with officials, and they said whatever got this master hunter snuck up on him. Snuck up on him. So it doesn't matter how badass you think you are, this thing or these things. Man, I promise you, I don't think they hunt. It could take you. You can't hunt it alone. So it's best just to know its hunting areas and its season of hunt. That's the interesting thing. And stay away from it. I'm going to tell you why I think it's a man. During the interview, he explained that when somebody goes missing, a lot of times we use equipment to search the area. We use drones and we use satellite.
They said there was another little girl that was found alive, and there was a tree on her. It's a freaking tree on the little girl. The author devised that the beast was able to cover the girl with the tree, but keep her alive. See, all you'd have to do is dig a pit for the girl to sit in, and then put the tree over the ground, and then the girl just sits in the pit. And the author said when they found her arms and her legs were sticking out, and they found her alive, she wasn't hurt by the tree that was placed over. The tree was placed over so the eye in the sky couldn't find her heat signature. That shows an intelligence beyond master hunter. That shows an intelligence that's beyond most of us. Like, we would know if we were in the trees. I mean, we were out in the forest. If we were trying to hide ourselves, you know, we saw Arnold Schwarzenegger put mud all over himself to block the heat. That's about the most we know. We wouldn't think, we would think cave or shelter. And this thing put a log over the girl to block a heat signature. That's a level of brilliance, or that's a level of, I understand the technology of humans because I walk amongst humans. We all know that there's a clinical term for werewolf. It is called lycanthropy. This author, when he presents his information, he never says what he thinks what it is. He never speculates. He has a degree in Bigfoot hunting, but he rarely tells about that. It took me listening to it on the George Noory show for me to hear that all this other stuff. He's an ex-police officer. That's what you always hear first. And he wants you to know these people are missing. And he wants you to know it's mainly in these areas, and this is how it's done. And technically, under the peripherums that he sets for his criteria, if you find these people within 3 days, this thing will be scared off, and you'll more likely find these people alive. You have to watch odd disappearances to get to the end of it to find out a lot of these children are found with rape marks, if they're not just found eaten. The men are usually found eaten. The master hunter, they found his socks with some toe bones, and they found his pants turned inside out. If something takes your pants off, then that's an intelligence. Any animal would rip your pants or rip through your pants. So this thing is raping and usually eating people. And again, there is a way to avoid it, or them. And I know this sounds silly to a degree, but the Bible calls them lion men, if I'm correct. And that means they still exist. And that means they exist heavily here. And that means there is safety in numbers. So, I'm not asking you to believe me. I'm asking you to start researching 411. And actually, they even have a picture. There's you'll see some things called 411 missing person. It's 411 missing persons. 411 missing persons alternative. Now, when you see the word alternative, it's people giving their opinion. In one of the alternative videos, they show you an image that is caught on camera of a gigantic dog man. I'm not bullshitting you. Now, I don't want one thing to be greater than the other thing in this video. I don't want to show you a bunch of images or any audio from it. The importance of this video, we know where Moses' body is. We need to go get it. It is the evidence that we need. The lies are coming to an end. France is about to have a reckoning. Like, you understand, these black people have been taught they shipped in. They've been taught they've been shipped in, and white French court people just said to the white French nation, you're not a nation, you're not even a body of people. If you start researching French court decision about this, you'll see most of the information on white-run websites. And what they state is they fear this is the end of their domination because of the laws that have been created. There are many nations that exist that have not overthrown indigenous people for their soil. But many of the European nations have. So you'll see a lot of authors state, well, if they start evicting the French, then they will eventually evict other Caucasians from the lands they have conquered. Then they state, where do the Caucasians go back to then? Well, obviously it's the islands, as the Bible states. But these authors don't understand that. They are very ignorant of their own history, so they think that they're from outer space. They're technically right, since they think that they're half alien. Alien are fallen, or Nephilim. So that means Genesis 6 is right when it says the fallen angels came down and mated with women. It does say women. But if you'll note, in later chapters, Japhet's race is what's infected the most. So, I don't care if you don't believe that there's lycanthropy. I don't truly care if you don't believe Moses' body isn't out in Utah. I don't care one bit. The Word of God is rich and has never lied to us. And the New Testament is not the Word of God. There is not one prophet of God in the New Testament. Not even Jesus. James is different. You read the book of Jude and it attests. Jude's the brother of Jesus, yet the book of James tells you James is the brother of Jesus. Hence, this Mary, the Nazarene woman, Maryland, Mary had two sons, James and Jude. Not Jesus. Look, the lie is thick, but it's a corruption of ancient data that's been hidden from us. So avoid it. Avoid the New Testament. That's what I've always told you. All the prophecies in the Old Testament are valid. What will happen to the land? What will happen to the people of the land? Your role with this. It's all there in the Old Testament. Even your new covenant. Yet the Christians say they have. Like they hold it in their pocket. Wake up, people. Wake up. The Old Testament happened most part here. The four rivers are here. Columbus said so himself. I'll get into it. Moses is here. Joshua here. Mount Ephraim here. Now, if you look at Egypt history, when they were overthrown by the Greeks, the hierarchy of Egypt left. And they came here. The Grand Canyon. Same place where Moses is buried. Two different tales, same original source. Old Testament. If you were free during the New Testament, then Paul wouldn't say go into the Israelites. They were enslaved and dispersed at that point. Right. Look. Arm yourselves while you still can. Buy a shotgun. I say a shotgun because you can buy ammo to shoot at a distance. It's a great hunting weapon. You can buy ammo to shoot up close. It's a great hunting weapon. It's a great weapon for defense. It is not a great weapon for attack. I'm not telling you to go and attack people. I'm saying buy this weapon to defend yourself. Defend your property right now. And prepare to pack your stuff and go out into the wilderness, preferably a desert, because these man beasts like cold. But don't get me wrong, it still happens in Texas, it still happens in South Florida. If you watch the video, odd disappearances, and you listen close for 2 hours and 30 minutes, it will be explained. It will all be explained. You listen to the little girl, she says it's a beast. When you listen to the author, this thing is intelligent. We have to go into the wilderness. This is freaking critical. Don't think I'm just stoned. This is critical. 3 guys probably ain't gonna take this thing down. This thing literally works like what they call the predator. When you turn your head, one person falls. It likes taking people and hiding. The author says this. The author says this. Listen to the video, man. The author says, when they meet for search parties late, meaning they already searched an area 2-3 times, when they meet in that area again, they walk the path into the forest and they go hunting in the forest for the dead bodies. When they return on the path to get to their vehicles, they'll find the body. This thing is intelligent. It will carry the dead body back to the people searching for the dead body, and then go and hide so that the researchers find the body there and it won't find its lair. Now listen, it said something else too, and I'm going to tell you, this is why I know it's a man that can transform. Understand? It says, he says, when they started searching, search parties started finding shelters. Now listen, when you go into these survival books, they teach you how to make a shelter. A shelter is something big enough for a man to be in, or something a little bigger. They already stated it's not a bear. Bear don't unbuckle pants, okay? And when you listen to this stuff, you hear about the clothes being taken off. That's how you know there's sex going on. Besides, the author tells you that from some of the dead bodies, they already have indication of rape. And they have some bodies that are serrated, meaning they're ripped into with giant claws. Now, they say they're not finding dens like an animal or a large animal makes a den, what they're finding is shelters, which is a structure. Alright, so I want you to keep this in mind. This thing snatches grown men, rapes and kills them. This thing snatches, or these things snatch little children, try to befriend them until they're comfortable, then rape them and sometimes eat them. Now, I've told you how to find the information that I've found. It is too much information, and I have to leave soon. Now, every subject aside that I have not shown you, I've told you how to find it. And we have to go through the wilderness. That doesn't mean we have to go ignorantly. We have to fear the Creator. That doesn't mean we have to fear these things. And as we leave in groups, this is our main enemy. I know you think the government's your enemy. They're the enemy of the world. We can leave them right now. Right now, we can just leave them. And if you do it individually, you're just going right back into somebody else's government. So that's why, to a great degree, I think we just need to walk off into the desert. Or walk off into the mountains. I prefer the mountains, because the mountains lead right down to South America. But I think we need to do it as a group, or in groups. So, I've had my say. And to you, good day.